There is a habit quietly stealing your future right now. It doesn't make a sound. It doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't announce itself when it arrives. In fact, it often disguises itself as comfort, as being realistic, as waiting for the perfect moment. That's why almost nobody notices it until years have passed. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the person you could have become only exists in your imagination. Not because you weren't intelligent, not because you lacked talent, not because life was unfair, but because one invisible habit slowly took everything from you while convincing you that everything was fine. The most dangerous things in life rarely arrive with explosions. Cancer begins with one tiny cell. A crack in a dam begins as a hairline fracture. A forest fire can begin with one spark. The destruction is silent before it becomes visible. Your life works exactly the same way. The habit I'm talking about is postponing your life, not just procrastination, something much deeper. It's the habit of believing you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll take care of your health. Tomorrow you'll read that book. Tomorrow you'll apologize. Tomorrow you'll start that business. Tomorrow you'll save money. Tomorrow you'll chase your dream. Tomorrow. And one day, there are no tomorrows left. A nurse who spent decades caring for elderly patients once said something heartbreaking. She said the saddest words she heard were never, "I wish I had worked more." They were, "I thought I had more time." About that. I thought I had more time. Those 7 words contain enough regret to fill an entire lifetime. Here's what makes this habit so dangerous. It never feels dangerous. If someone offered you poison, you'd reject it immediately. But if someone offered you endless comfort, endless scrolling, endless excuses, endless distractions, you might accept them every single day without realizing they're poisoning your future. Comfort is addictive because it never asks anything from you. Growth demands sacrifice. Comfort whispers, "Rest today." Growth says, "Move anyway." Comfort says, "You deserve a break." Growth says, "You deserve a better life." Comfort says, "Start next week." Growth says, "Start now." The scary part is that comfort speaks with your own voice. You think you're making the decision, but in reality, your habits have already decided your future. There is an old story about a frog. If you throw it into boiling water, it jumps out immediately. But if the water warms slowly, the frog doesn't notice the danger until it's too late. Whether the story is scientifically accurate isn't the point. The lesson is, most destruction happens gradually. Nobody wakes up one morning overweight because of one meal. Nobody becomes financially broke because of one purchase. Nobody loses a relationship because of one conversation. Nobody becomes average because of one bad day. It's always the small decisions repeated consistently. Success is silent. Failure is also silent. Both are built in private. A young man once dreamed of becoming a successful entrepreneur. He bought books. He watched motivational videos, he attended seminars, he talked endlessly about his plans. 5 years later, nothing had changed. Another man started with almost nothing. He wasn't smarter, he wasn't richer, he wasn't more connected. He simply made one promise to himself: I will do something every day, no matter how small. Some days he worked for 10 hours, other days only 20 minutes. But he never stopped. Years later, people called him lucky. They never saw the thousands of invisible decisions that created his success. People admire results. Life rewards habits. Your future is not created by what you occasionally do. It's created by what you repeatedly refuse to stop doing. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. What habit have you practiced so consistently that it has become your identity? Because eventually, you don't have habits. Your habits have you. Maybe your habit is comparing yourself with everyone else. You open social media for 5 minutes. An hour disappears. Suddenly you feel behind. You see someone's new car, someone's vacation, someone's engagement, someone's success, but you don't see their failures. You don't see their sleepless nights. You compare your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. Comparison steals 2 things: your gratitude and your momentum. You cannot build your dream while staring at someone else's. Another silent habit is waiting for confidence. People say, I'll speak when I'm confident, I'll apply when I'm confident, I'll start when I'm confident. But confidence isn't the beginning, it's the reward. Babies don't wait until they're confident before walking. They fall, cry, stand again, fall again. Eventually, Walking becomes natural. Adults often expect certainty before taking action. Life doesn't work that way. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. Fear shrinks every time you walk toward it. Avoidance feeds fear. Action starves it. Think about the greatest people in history. Did they avoid discomfort? No, they trained themselves to become familiar with it. Every champion has learned something ordinary people avoid. Pain is temporary. Regret lasts much longer. Imagine two versions of yourself standing side by side 10 years from now. The first version chose comfort every day. Just one more episode, just one more excuse, just one more delay. Nothing dramatic happened. Life simply drifted. The second version also faced fear, also experienced failure, also doubted themselves. The difference? They acted anyway. Both people had the same 24 hours, the same sun rose, the same night arrived, but one built a future, the other waited for one. Which version are you becoming today? Not tomorrow. Today, because tomorrow is built by today's decisions. Here's something many people misunderstand. You don't need a life-changing decision. You need life-changing consistency. One page every day becomes dozens of books. One workout every day transforms your body. $1 saved daily becomes financial discipline. One act of kindness daily transforms relationships. Tiny actions become giant outcomes. People overestimate what they can do in one day. They underestimate what they can become in 5 years. Your life is a mirror. It reflects what you repeatedly practice. Not what you wish, not what you dream, not what you post online. Practice. That is why discipline is one of the highest forms of self-love. Discipline says, I care enough about my future to disappoint my present comfort. That's powerful, because every meaningful achievement requires disappointing the version of you that wants the easy path. Every morning, there is a battle. One voice says, stay in bed. Another says, get up. One says, skip today's work. Another says, keep your promise. One says, no one will notice. Another says, you will. And that's the voice that matters most. Because your reputation with yourself is worth more than applause from strangers. If you repeatedly break promises to yourself, eventually you stop trusting yourself. Then even your biggest dreams sound impossible. Trust is built exactly the same way with yourself as it is with others. Keep your word, again and again and again. Eventually your mind begins believing, if I say I'll do it, I will. That belief changes everything. Let me ask you one final question. If someone secretly copied your daily habits, would they eventually become successful? Would they become healthy? Would they become disciplined? Would they become someone you admire? If the answer is no, the problem isn't your dream, it's your routine. Dreams don't shape your destiny. Daily habits do. Remember this, life rarely changes overnight. It changes quietly. One decision, one morning, one workout, one chapter, one conversation, one courageous step at a time. The silent habit destroying your life isn't a lack of talent. It isn't bad luck. It isn't other people. It's postponing the life you know you're capable of living. And the beautiful truth is this. The same quiet power that slowly destroys a life can also slowly build an extraordinary one. Starting today, refuse to postpone your happiness. Refuse to postpone your discipline. Refuse to postpone your purpose. You don't need a perfect plan. You need an honest beginning. Years from now, you'll either tell yourself, I'm so glad I started, or I wish I had started. Both sentences begin with the same word, I. That means the choice has always belonged to you. Your future is listening to every decision you make today. Make sure it hears courage instead of excuses. Make sure it hears action instead of delay. Make sure it hears determination instead of fear. Because the life you've always wanted isn't waiting for a different version of you. It's waiting for the decision you make the moment this speech ends. So stand up, take the first step, keep the promise, and let today become the day your future finally begins.